Good evening and welcome. Welcome to this brand new week of the Angela Ray Show. I hope that you all had a fantabulous weekend wherever you were, whether you are social distancing still at home, whether you are an essential worker and it was business as usual, or whether you decided to be safe and step out into the social streets. Regardless, very happy to have you on tonight's broadcast. For those of you who will be catching the show on the replay, thank you so much for hanging out with the Angela Ray Show. For those of you who are joining the broadcast live, go ahead and do me a favor. Share the broadcast on your Facebook page. If you're watching on YouTube, you can tag a friend. And of course, go ahead and slide into the comments. Let me know where you are watching from tonight. This is Monday, so that means it's a brand new week. And here we're starting a brand new series. It's Divine 9-Week Sisterhood Edition. And for this first day, a 9-week Sisterhood Edition, I am starting off with a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. So can't wait for you to meet my special guest for tonight. But of course, whenever you get on the broadcast, like I said, go ahead and slide into the comments. And look, my special guest has already commented. Hey, Carlene, thanks so much for joining the broadcast tonight. Yes, it's going to be a great week. Can't wait for you to hear more, learn more, so that we can all do more. As I always do here on the Angela Ray Show, I like to give you a little something that makes you go, And that I call my ray of motivation moment. And so for this ray of motivation moment, I just want to ask you, is your past holding you back, or are you holding on to your past? There is definitely a difference. Very often we will use, myself included, from time to time as the excuse that certain things that have happened in our past are holding us back, whether it is lack of education, whether it was where we were born, where we grew up, the lack of resources during particular times in our life, even our family situation, whether we came from a single parent household, whether we had two parents in the household, but they never really were there even when they were physically in the home. Maybe some of us have come from broken homes. Maybe we've had abuse in our past. Maybe some of us didn't even finish high school, let alone go ahead and further education after high school. A lot of people have situations that are less than ideal that are in their past. However, the key to moving on and moving on up to the deluxe apartment in the sky is to let go of your past. So I ask you again, is your past holding you back, or are you holding on to your past? Well, that is your ray of motivation moment for this Monday edition of the Angela Ray Show. Well, I am really excited to welcome my guest for tonight. I mentioned just a little bit about her just a moment ago. She is the founder of the Real Love Network and the author of the bestseller Princess Zara's Birthday Tradition. She teaches professional women who are super busy and driven how to have a happy and fulfilling life. And because it is Divine 9-Week, of course, she will represent. She is a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. Help me welcome Coach Cass. Coach Cass, thank you so much for being on the Angela Ray Show tonight.
So excited to be here. Thank you, Angela, my Divine 9 sister. Thank you for having me here. Hello to everyone out there.
Thank you for being here. I'm just curious because I've known you probably well over a decade. I don't even know how long, but well over a decade. And I'm just curious, how did you get into helping other women? How did you get into relationship coaching?
Oh, girl, you want to start there? Okay.
We're going to start there.
Okay. So I've been coaching for maybe over 15 years, right? And I remember at one point I was dating a guy that I thought was the one. Angela, you ever thought somebody was the one before?
Girl, I mean, are you going to make me do the confession like we on the Oprah Winfrey Show or something? Come on now. Come on.
Anybody who's watching, I want you to put number 1 in the chat. So I know you're paying attention whether you're watching live or the replay. So I was dating a guy that I thought was the one, and we were having a good time, girl, talking about the future, building business. I'm like, this is the one for me. Mm-hmm. One Christmas Eve, I got a call. And my friend said, "Are you sitting?" I said, "What you mean? Why do I need to be sit-" Well, Merry Christmas. He's like, "That's not why I'm calling. That guy that you think is the one, he's married,
Oh.
girl." Mm. Heart shattered in a million pieces. And I was like, okay, well, I have to leave this relationship. But how many of us know that even though you leave a relationship, the relationship doesn't always leave you? Meaning, I
Mm-hmm.
felt like somebody was calling me to tell me how stupid I was every day of my life after that, right? I was in such a place of guilt and shame. Have you ever felt like the bottom fell out where you got a phone call that you just weren't expecting, whether it was regarding your faith, your finances, or your future? I want you to put a
Mm-hmm.
yes in the chat, right? So for me, I was in a really dark place. And even though I kept dating, it was just like the wrong guy after the wrong guy. And I felt like my picker was broken. Y'all ever felt like your picker was broken? Like, oh, that ain't it. No, honey. So my defining moment came when I felt like I got my 29th wedding invitation. Angela, you ever felt like everybody was getting married? Like, like everybody. It didn't matter the age, the stage, the race, the weight. Everybody had somebody. I'm like, wait a second. I'm cute. Like, why is this not working for me? So I realized, just like I invest in my business, just like I invested in my travel, pre-COVID, right? Just like I invested in all the things that were important for me, I needed to invest in my love life, because the magic fairy dust that was happening for Rashida and Maria and Ellen, it wasn't landing at my house. Like, I don't know where they got it. I went to Disney. I tried to get some sprinklings. It just wasn't happening for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I read every book that I could on love. I slept with books. I read the books. I ate with books. I drove with books. Illegal, I know. I interviewed couples who had been married for over 25 years and actually still
Mm-hmm.
liked each other. Angela, do you know some grumpy married people?
Oh yeah, we all do. You know
Girl,
we do.
put yes in the chat if you know some grumpy married people. So I knew way too many grumpy married people. So I sought out, like a reporter, different people, different ages, different spaces, different religions, all the stuff from across the country to figure out, like, what made marriage work? Like, why do you still like each other? And then a part of me felt like you couldn't be successful in business and in your love life, right? I felt like you
Mm.
had to choose, like, okay, I can choose to focus on my career or choose to focus on my education or my love life. And so I realized that was a limiting belief when I started to interview successful women who were successful in life, in love, and in business. So all of that brought me, plus I got my own personal help. All of that brought me to the place where I attracted my amazing husband, Andy Henriquez, who was just awesome. And we have a beautiful baby girl. And it just made me realize that there are so many professional women out there that either, I want you to think about this. Do you have a girlfriend that does this, right? That's either like really focused on everything but love. So she's focused on her family, meaning her parents, aging parents, her sorority, her all the things to do, the next thing on the list. She's goal oriented. So she's hitting out the list and like, love will come, but it's not. And then on the other hand, somebody that's kind of settling in a thing, right? How many of us know somebody that has a warm body, right? And they're not happy, right? So my main focus is to help women understand that there's this special place in between where you could be in a loving and fulfilling relationship. Yes, first with yourself, and attract the kind of love that you really deserve, and that's really why I started the Real Love Network, to support women along their love journey, because it's not a one-time thing at all.
Now let me ask you this. So you've been on this journey as Coach Cass for a while.
Yeah.
Without, revealing details, can you tell me a little bit about your most successful client results?
Okay. So, one of the biggest things that I find with all of my clients that have had successful results is that their picker is really broken. So, it's nothing wrong with you. It's just the way in which you choose. Who taught you how to choose the right person for you? Usually, we learn about love through what? Romantic comedies, family dysfunction, or porn. Straight up, like, where do you find out about relationships? In college, there's no class. There might have been the sex ed class. Okay, you don't want to end up with cauliflower in your private parts, but other than that, they don't really teach you how to have a healthy relationship. So I realized that one of the biggest things I work with my clients with is how to choose the right person for you. And you can't just look at the paper, right? You
Mm-hmm.
can't just look at, okay, well, they look good on paper, so this is a great person for me, because that's not the great place to be. So specifically, I'm thinking of a law firm partner, right? So she was dating, right? She would swipe on whatever app, and then she would shimmy into her black dress after work in the public bathroom of, the local, well, it was Bayside Marketplace down here in South Florida. So she'd go on a date, and every time she put on that little black dress, she'd be scared to say, oh man, what if like my date's sister sees me in the bathroom? Or, like she was a single mom with 2 kids, divorced twice. And, she'd still get a babysitter to try and make this thing happen. So the thing I loved is that she was in action, right? But still, she was choosing the wrong guy. So through our time together, she whittled down 2 guys, right? And she was head over heels for one girl. He was like Pepe Le Pew. Oh, you are so beautiful. Your eyes are like the ocean. And she's like, oh, Coach Cass, that chemistry is so lovely. And then the other guy, she was just like, I don't know, our first date, he moved our table 3 times. I don't know, Coach Cassie seems a little anal. And just in our working together, I helped her to understand to still continue to date both. So that's something that I realized, Angela, is that a lot of people don't know how to date, right? Multiple people, because you're busy, right? So you're like, oh, this works. And so you give this one person all of this attention that really doesn't deserve it, right? So that's, people kind of by osmosis become your man or become your partner or become your wife. And it's like, no, it should be something intentional. So literally through us working together, she chose the right guy, and now they're happily married. He accepts her daughters, like they just bought a house. They're really happy. And I'm just grateful, So in terms of my success stories, I really believe it happens in small shifts. There's some people out there that are just absolutely scared to date. So just shifting to be able to date is a big deal, right? I count that as a win. And then from there on, to the fact of choosing the right one for you. Yeah.
Now, Coach Cass, we want to know which one it was she chose. Come on now. I don't mean to make you spit out the drink, but we want to know.
Well, Pepe Le Pew had to go. Okay. So it turns out he really was of no substance. He was sexy, but honey, like he was not it. He had nothing to say but sex. And that just really, she realized that that's not what she was looking for. At first, what she thought she was looking for was someone to show up with her at the nice galas and be on her arm, but good looks wasn't everything. She wanted somebody that could accept her in her sweatpants and no makeup and a cold and can bring her some chicken soup. So she actually chose the other guy, the guy that switched the tables 3 times. He was just trying to hear her. Right. So they were by the bathroom before, unacceptable. Right. They were by a noisy table, unacceptable. And they were by a smoker. So, sometimes we judge people too quickly and really are releasing the right person for us based on our own preconceived notions.
Yeah. Now, speaking of dating and, COVID and the pandemic, how can someone who is like, okay, you know what? The world has slowed down. I'm not working. I'm at the house. I realize I do not have my Prince Charming. I got everything else but that. Coach Cass, how can I date during the pandemic and keep it safe? Because the Rona is real in these streets.
Rona is real. Listen to me. So far, I want to say 3 of my Real Love Network members have found love during quarantine.
Ooh.
Okay, so that's a really big deal. Really, I just interviewed one, and it's on my Instagram, the interview, but I'll tell her story. So Khalida was open to dating before, and one of the things I share is you can meet somebody one of 3 ways, right? So you either meet them online, in person, or through an introduction, right? So if you're anti-online, that means you need to go outside, which is a little scary right now, right? And if you see somebody in a mask, what if he don't have any teeth, girl? It's like, oh, he cute. We exchange numbers. And then, he take the mask off, teeth all gone. You don't know, right? So it's a little creepy, right? So to me, online is a great thing to do because you're online anyway. Everybody watching this, guess what? You are online right now. Millions more people are online. So what is this? A numbers game. Get tested before, exactly. HIV and COVID, baby, both of them. Exactly. So really and truly, it's really being able to have those conversations, those virtual dates, and just take it progressively. So Khalida, she decided that she would not meet up with someone unless she thought they were a real viable candidate. So she went on her virtual dates. She talked on the phone, and for the person that she really clicked with, they met up, at 6 feet apart, and got to know each other, walked and sat at separate tables, the whole thing. And then when they really talked about, okay, well, what does their quarantining look like? Then they came to a place where they trusted each other to be in the same space, and now she's having the time of her life, and she's a single mom. She's an entrepreneur. She also works at a job, like all the things, I hear about, all the excuses. The main thing is to stop making excuses. We don't make excuses when it comes to business. We don't make excuses when it comes to our money. So it's time to not make excuses when it comes to love.
Now, here's a great follow-up question to that. Edwin is one of our very loyal supporters here at the Angela Ray.
Can you define the word date in COVID-19 2020? So I'm for the virtual date, right? So I have a whole list of virtual dates you could do via Relationships for Busy Women. No offense, Edwin. But essentially, date right now is getting to know someone. I want you guys to think about Love is Blind. Have y'all seen that Netflix show, Love is Blind?
I've been hearing about it, but I haven't taken the time. Yeah, I had a friend interestingly at church who was like, we need to watch that together.
So look towards me right now, Angela. Look like you're looking towards me. Like turn like you're looking towards me. Yeah, other way. Yeah, other way. The other way. Yeah. Okay. So Love is Blind is set up like this. So there's a wall in between you and the person, and you're getting to know each other through the wall. And then they propose through the wall.
Then they
meet, right?
I heard.
So some of the couples actually did work out. So what I say to that is, what I've been saying before this show is that we put too much weight on the physical. Right? We put all this weight on, they got to look like this. And, they got to be this chemistry and they got to be this thing. But then there's no emotional connection. So I like COVID right now when it comes to dating, because you're forced to have conversation and actually connect with the person before you meet them, which is the proper way to do things if you are a marriage-minded person and you're seeking a long-term commitment. Now, if you're looking for a fling, a thing on the side, this is messing up all of that for you. But if you're someone who's looking for a true connection, this is the perfect time to get to know someone and get to know multiple people and not feel bad about it because you're not spending any physical time with anybody.
Yeah. Now, before we were on lockdown, you were hosting many events for women, like these in-person events. So what is it like to spend a weekend with Coach Cass?
Oh, man. So I'm doing virtual events now. I just did a masterclass, Manifest Your Man masterclass. And then coming up this Wednesday, we're talking about unrealistic expectations. So and next month, we're talking about overcoming the fear of dating. So I have just ramped up in terms of virtual classes because I realized that love doesn't stop because of COVID. Like people do not need to be single for the rest of life because of COVID. COVID is not going to stop anybody's blessings. You know what I mean? So right now we're just cautious in COVID, but you could definitely still court in COVID. So yes, a weekend event with me is high energy. There's always music. I get in your face. I get in your place. I'm a very direct permission first, but I'm straight up is what I've been told, and I'm an authentic coach is definitely what I've been called. I tell it like it is. I call it how I see it, whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what the experience with me is like.
Oh, here's a real good question for the 2020 and the COVID right here.
Oh, hallelujah. Do you believe women should pursue men or wait for the Lord to send them their mates? Let me tell you, Edwin, for my ladies out there that are waiting for the Lord to send them their mates, unless that mate is with Uber Eats or Postmates, I don't know how you're going to meet him, right? So faith without works is dead. I am an avid Christian. I read my Bible daily, but at the same time, if I want a client, yes, I still pray for Jesus to bring the clients, but I still need to have a conversation, do interviews like this amazing interview I'm doing now. I need to be able to put myself out there. My book, if I didn't sell it, nobody would have bought it. So at the end of the day, dating is marketing, right? So you need to market yourself. So yes, you could be in the depths of your closet on your knees praying. A few people have found their man that way, but the large majority had to do something more. So in order to meet somebody online, in person, or introduction are the main three ways that you could meet someone. And yes, your Boaz is out there. But at the same time, if everybody's praying for Boaz, like, listen to me, he's about to be a polygamist. Like, it's like 97 million of y'all that are praying for Boaz. What about Reuben over here? So I just invite my women to be able to say, okay, well, what are the actions that I am also taking? Because in everything you've ever accomplished in your life, you had to do something for it. Something, right? Everything that you've accomplished at great heights, right? So whether it's a degree, a certification, a weight loss, like, it wasn't from osmosis, right? You didn't just dream up your degree and it was handed to you. You had to do some kind of work. So it's the same thing. Love, somehow we feel like it should just be, magic fairy dust, like, bam, there it is, salt bay.
So for those people who you're coaching, I would assume most of those people, they're investing in coaching, they're marriage minded.
Yes.
What is one of the biggest lessons you've learned from being married?
Oh, girl, hallelujah. This ain't for the faint of heart, right? So that is definitely one of the things I would definitely say, is that you have to remember why you married the person. Because the majority of the women that I work with, are mature women of a certain age that are used to doing things a certain way, right? And if you come to a relationship saying it's my way or the highway, that man's gonna choose the highway. So I need, it's a big part is giving grace. I would say is the biggest ingredient to having a thriving relationship and marriage, is giving grace. Because at the end of the day, the person you're with is not malintent. They're not there to hurt you. And when you realize that, you don't get as offended as easily. It's so crazy, right, Angela? Any comedian I watch nowadays, I forgot which comedian I saw a clip of, and they were like, okay, don't get offended, because our society is just about getting offended today. Like, you say one thing and it's like everybody's offended. Like, like, this is crazy. I just twitched my hair. You offended by me twitching my hair? So it's an issue with how we operate. So being able to say, okay, I will not seek to be offended. Instead, I will seek to give grace. Simplicity.
So here's a follow-up from another one of our loyal viewers, Shanice. She's out of Florida as well.
Hey, Shanice. All right. So Shani says, I'm a 29-year-old single, no kids.
Oh, but she did say asking for a friend. That was the follow-up. Okay.
No.
Follow-up.
I didn't see all of the questions. I just know she's 29 with no kids. Yes, there's still hope for you, girl. Come on. I work with women who have made and found love after 60, okay? After 40, after 50, like 29, girl, yes. Okay. I just want to keep things in perspective. Average lifespan of a woman is 85, 90, right? So when you put things in perspective and you have like another 50 years on earth, like, you're good. Like, life isn't over. That's one of the things I hear all the time. Well, is it too late for me, Coach Cass? Never. I know somebody 72 that just got married. Okay. So, like, it's never too late to connect with true love, with real love.
Well, you went back 1993.
Real love. So Shanice, listen to me. Yes, girl, you can still find love. It is more than possible. More than possible. But it's all a mindset.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were just mentioning your book. I wanted you to tell us more about the book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. Look at this cute princess. Oh my goodness, she's so beautiful. So let me tell you, when I became a mom, I didn't realize that you become an event planner, Angela. Like, I didn't know. I got away
and a taxi driver.
Her first birthday, her second birthday, she didn't care. Third birthday, she was like, Mommy, I want a party. I want a party. And I knew she liked princesses. So I went out looking for a little princess that looked like her. And I couldn't find one, girl. I was like, this is crazy. Like, are you serious? I'm Googling everywhere. I'm looking everywhere and I could not find. And people say, well, what about Tiana? Tiana was nowhere to be found, right? And I was just like, okay, well, maybe I'll create a character just for her. And when I first showed it to her, she was like, Mommy, I don't want this one. I want the other one. I want the white one. Okay, right? I was like, I didn't know it was that deep. So it took me back to that black doll versus the white doll test back in the day and how all the kids wanted the white doll. It was better, prettier, smarter. I realized I don't think it's because their parents told them that, Angela. I really think it's because it wasn't popular. It wasn't seen. Where was the representation? And the crazy thing is now in 2020, it's still an issue. And I invite all of y'all to go on all of your streaming services and go like this and just tag me in what you see, because it's not like, in terms of the ratio, there might be Princess Tiana and 100 other shows. I'm like, dang, this is a problem. And Disney missed the mark with Tiana, right? So when you look at that show, she was a frog for over 70% of the movie. And was she really a princess? So for me, I created an amazing princess. Her name is Princess Zara. And she comes from royalty. She's like, nobody's like poor nobody, right? So we're going to make up a story, royalty. And I'm really on a mission to create representation to change the narrative. So my big picture goal, Angela, is for this to become a mainstream cartoon that all children run to see, because it's not just for our Black and brown children to see themselves, but for our white, Hispanic, and Asian children to see our children as royalty. Because, you know, with the times today, you start to realize, like, what do people learn about Black people in school? That we were slaves, and when we did amazing things, we were assassinated. It's crazy. Like, really and truly looking at our history. Like, I reached out to the school that I want my daughter to go to next, and I asked them, I said, do you start history with African history to tell all the children about how we were kings and queens? And they're like, oh, no school does that. I'm like, oh, okay. So since that's not American history, so American history is how I came here as a slave. And I'm like, how does that warp the mind of all the children, right? So then that teaches my child to be less than, and it teaches your child that they're better than my child, right? Don't like it. So I'm literally on a mission to change the entire narrative. So this book hit #1 on Amazon, Princess Zara's Birthday Tradition. It hit #1 on Amazon within 3 days, which is a pretty big deal.
Oh, wow.
We officially are in production for the Princess Zara birthday set, because parents reached out to me and was like, okay, where's the birthday set? I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, the reason why you start. I was like, oh yeah. So we are now in pre-order stage for the birthday set. I am accepting nominations for Girls in Need and organizations that serve girls. I'm giving away 500 birthday sets. So if they go to zaraandziggy.com, they can nominate a child or organization to receive birthday sets. So that's now until July 31st. I'm accepting nominations for that. So, you know, it's a lot going on. Just the biggest thing in terms of help that I need is just spreading the word, you know, and knowing that you got to vote with your dollars. When Black Panther came around, Angela, I'll tell you that the CEO of Disney had to push his team to be like, no, we're doing this and we're going to give it the right amount of money. Because at first they were like, Black people don't spend money, right? They're not going to buy that, right? That's not going to be a hit. And he's like, no, we're going to do this movie right. And look, it was the largest grossing Marvel, like largest grossing movie. And then it on all the charts. So what I realized is that we have to vote with our dollars. With Black Panther, girl, I never felt so African in my life. I think I wore something African every day for like 3 months. You know, I had cuffs, I had prints, I had head wraps. I think I saw it in the movie theater 3 times with a different outfit that all cost me $200 each outfit, you know? So it was like, come on. So it's the same way that we have to do with Princess Zara, like voting with the dollars, following, sharing, all the things in order to really help to make this a movement. So yeah, it's a big charge. Big charge.
Wakanda was a moment, girl. I too saw it 3 times in the theater, and it wasn't even intentional, but yeah. I mean, like early, like I saw it twice before it ever came out, but that's a whole nother story. All right. We got a question about keeping the fire alive.
Ooh. What advice do you give to couples to help them keep things lively in their marriage? I'm married 27 years and still deeply in love, but can always use some ideas. Okay, so the biggest thing I believe when it comes to a fire is being connected. When you are disconnected is when the fire dwindles or the fire dies. So there's a specific training that I love called Adventures in Marriage. Check it out. And one of the biggest thing that you will learn from that is the daily temperature reading. So checking in with your spouse every day and sharing how much you appreciate them specifically, and what are some questions that you have, and being able to pray together, right? So to me, those are the foundational things that help to keep a fire alive, because you could swing from a chandelier and do all the things, but if you're not connected, like
Right.
soul to soul, like face to face, like moment to moment, spending intimate time together, into me, you see intimacy, like it's just not gonna work. Like you could do all the tricks you want, you know? So that's really what keeps the fire burning. Fire burning, burning, burning.
Fire. I got another question from a single lady.
What do you say about the blessing of singlehood or singledom? Do you ever say to a client after all the dating, etc., that maybe marriage isn't for them? No, I've never said that to a client. Now, I have had a client say, you know what, Coach Cass, I think I'm just stuck in my ways and I was meant to be by myself. I was like, it could be true, right? It could be true if you don't feel like compromising, if you don't feel like getting to know anybody, and if you want to be alone by yourself because you don't feel like dealing with anybody else's mess, then you might be right. Yeah. But they still continue as my client because what I teach still spills over into all your relationships, because no woman is an island, right? So at the end of the day, all of our relationships need to be curated and watered and grow and have a place where you could just authentically be yourself. Yeah. So yeah, I haven't said just go be single. No. But I have agreed, like, well, maybe. Who are some of
So
your
Leslie has a
favorite
follow-up
Black
question.
children's authors? Okay, let's see. Outside of myself, here we go. All right, so I have a few here, but then I actually moved a lot of them. Hi, I just got Skin Like Me. Skin Like Me. I just literally moved all my Black children's books over to my daughter's room because I had them here. These are just some books that I have here. So instead of Old MacDonald had a farm, it's Old McKimba had a farm, right? So it's being able to switch it up just a little bit. So yeah, I just got like 5 new books. And this is another one. I wouldn't say it was a favorite. These are just some that are here right now. These are just some right here. There's a really cool book club, Bee Bomb Book Club. Look them up. Has all Black children's books. And I just continuously buy from them. I'm like, oh, that's really cute. Like, so Amazon doesn't get as much of my money anymore. So that's my first place that I go. Bee Bomb Book Club with Christina Marie. She has a really cool book club, which our book is in there as well. But yeah, that's a good place to start. Mm-hmm.
So this is Divine Nine Week. You are kicking it off. You are a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. Hey now, I wasn't saying didn't see that. Okay then. Talk a little bit about how sisterhood has impacted your life.
Oh, girl. When I say when I am in the depths of the depths of the darkness of the worst place that I can be in, I know that I can call on a soror to help lift me out. Like it's just amazing what it is to be in a sorority and in a sisterhood. Like when I was trying to hit #1, like we have a secret SG Row moms group, and I was like, ladies, I think I'm only 50 books away from hitting #1. They were like, we got you, and they all bought the book right then in that hour, so and just that shoulder to cry on, that uplifting spirit. Like I can turn to my sorors for just about anything. And so I would definitely say that it has been a beautiful journey for me. And it's so crazy because, it's like you got your sorors, then you got your sorors. It's like you got your people and you got your people. So it's cool to see how far and wide we reach, but then you still got your tight crew. And from your tight crew, they have a tight crew, and those people are also a part of you. So I have seen sorority life or sisterhood to transform, for me, there was a point in time in my life, I felt like I worshiped my sorority, right? So when you first become a member of your sorority, it's like you got to wear blue and golds every day. You got to have on your pin, your para, your hair clip, your shoes, your sneakers, your bra is blue and gold. It's crazy. You know, it's like nothing else in the closet,
Yeah.
no other colors allowed. Like it's illegal. What you doing in that color? You feel like gang signs. You can't cut the line when you dance. You know, it's a little serious. And then I had like a life check that God was like, look, you know, I come first. I come first. So it really put me in my place of what to worship, right? So I worship God. And then my sorority is a part of my life, but I am just so grateful for my sorors. SGRO has been one of my major life decisions that I have been very happy with. So yeah, it's been a great ride so far. You know, I ain't dead yet. You know, it's full life, full life.
Ooh, and hopefully in 2 years it won't be no COVID. And when you have your centennial, you can be out there to
Girl,
enjoy
hallelujah.
it.
I'm like, y'all might have to catch me on Zoom.
Oh, Rona better be gone in 2 years. It better be gone in 2 years.
Americans don't know how to act, girl. You don't see. And us down here in Florida definitely don't know how to act. Turn up.
It's been interesting. And where did you pledge?
FIU, Florida International University.
Okay.
Omicron Theta. Yeah.
We got another question going back to relationships.
Do you believe your soulmate will only be sent through God? I think that God is the curator, right? But then I do believe that we have free will. So you can definitely choose the wrong person over and over and over and over again. And then you pray, Jesus, make him the one. Make him the one, Jesus. You know, and it's like, no, no, no. You're supposed to be praying beforehand. You know, God, is this the right person for me? You know, like one of the prayers I had with my husband is like, if this isn't the right person for me, let it be done. Right. And I've prayed that prayer before, and that person go missing the next day. Like, dang, I was like, Jesus, I had the personal thing. Like, I just want to, you know, connect a little bit. No. Okay, bye. So being able to consult God, if you're a Christian, to consult God in the beginning versus when you're already head over heels, or you done slept with them, or you did whatever you wasn't supposed to be doing, and now you're pregnant, or whatever's going on. You know what I mean? Like, please do not wait until you are whole body in to say, oh yeah, Jesus, is this a good idea? Right. So I would definitely say that's where you start. You know, that's definitely where you start. You start with consulting God in the entire process, and it's a prayer process along all of the actions. Yes, so you involve him in all steps. Mm-hmm.
Now, here's a question for you. You know, thinking about what's going on right now, not only do we have a pandemic, but we are in the midst of social reform. There's civil unrest. What do you think the long-term impact will be on our Divine Nine organizations as a result of this time?
Girl, so you know, I've been going back and forth. I'm like, are colleges coming back? Like, how are we gonna get new members? I was thinking about that. I was just like, what's the yard gonna look like? Probates, all that. I'm just like, this. I'm not sure. I've been thinking about that. So I'm a part of that BGLO 52-week challenge. Are you in that group?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like 100,000. Yeah, it's like 100,000 Greece. And I'm like, oh, I feel so good in this group. And like, we give $5 to whatever cause every week. And I'm just like, oh, this is so cool. But a part of me is like, okay, so we're giving to these colleges, but is anybody coming back to campus? And how are they going to pledge? Like, my husband wanted to start a scholarship for whatever the little Kappa Alpha Psi people are, right? And I'm just like, but are they going to be bringing in anybody new? Like, I don't know. So I'm rather concerned, like, how are we going to thrive and survive for the next generation coming through, and what that would look like Zoom intake. I don't know. I don't know what that. I don't know about that. You know, I don't know about that. So yeah, it's scary. What is cool is that Greeks, or at least Lawrence Ross, has created that group to now bring over 100,000 people together to try and make a change, at least for the next year. And I think that we can make some big impacts, you know, coming together.
Oh yeah.
So for those who are already members of their respective organizations, that we can do a better job of just representing and sharing and all that good stuff. So that'll be good. But in terms of like new blood, I don't know. Breathing in people's face, I don't
It's yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
I'm trying to be very PC right now. Don't get me in no trouble.
We got a suggestion for a new career.
Oh snap! When the world opens back up, Coach Cass needs to do comedy. What's that, Edwin? Would you watch my show? Would you watch my show, Edwin? Welcome to the Love Hour, to the Love Comedy Show. What's up? What's happening?
Any final thoughts as we get ready to wrap up?
Oh man, final thoughts. Hallelujah. Does anybody have any extra questions? Final thoughts. Just that you create your reality, right? And one of the biggest things that I see as a block for so many people is themselves, right? So instead of seeking to be offended, seek to give grace. If there's somebody that hasn't called you since COVID started, instead of hankering or anger in your heart towards them, just pick up the phone and call them. I got a call today from like my little sis and her daughter, and I was just like, you know what? Thank you for calling. I felt bad for the fact that I have not called her and she had a baby. I'm like, this baby's so cute. But we get wrapped up in our own worlds. Don't hold it against people, right? Like show love, show grace, and reach out. If you have something that's been on your heart that's bothering you, share it. Get over it. Build a bridge and get over it. Don't hold on to that stuff, because especially in these times where so many people are suicidal and going through so many things, like it's not worth it, right? So take the time out to show love and give grace and just stop being so offended. No entanglements.
Oh, girl, see, I was wondering if we were going to be able to get through this interview without that word. I was like, that is the buzzword. It's a whole song. People doing whole blogs about the entanglements, their shirts.
There is
in a relationship,
song.
single. I mean,
Angela, he released a song, girl.
He did. I'm not listening to it. I'm not listening to that. But yeah,
it's so good.
It is. Is it good? Oh, okay.
You ain't hear that from me. It's so good. Oh, snap.
Okay.
Make your head bop. I'm like, oh no, this is so
it's got a good beat. It's got a good beat.
Yeah, it's got a good beat. It's horrible. It's absolutely messy. But the beat, make it.
And I hate when that happens, because there have been many songs, especially when you're thinking about being in a sorority, that you heard the beat and you're like, okay, we're gonna step to this, we're gonna do a stroll to this, and then when you really hear the words, like, oh snap, we don't need to be stepping to this.
You know what?
All.
You know what song you just made me think of? Nuck if you buck.
Yeah,
bad, not holy.
That is a
peaceful people.
That's a scroll song.
Gospel strolls.
That's a scroll song. It is what it is. It's a scroll song. It's forever a scroll song, all the time. I mean, it really is. All right, so we're not gonna knock if you buck.
Unity stroll.
Yeah.
It's like the electric
Absolutely.
You're not so Angela.
What? Did you say
I said, come show with me. Hey.
It's been a minute, girl. It's been a minute. I'm trying to figure out when's the last time. It hasn't been this year. Probably sometime last year. National convention that ended early because of the hurricane. But
but y'all did really good stuff. Like you gave money to the city, and like I feel like y'all did some amazing stuff after that whole situation.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was so looking forward to hanging out in New Orleans. We had a convention there in 2010, and I had a ball, so I was looking forward to going back. And it just was cut short. So, but hopefully, like I said, 2022, it'll all be good. I'm thankful that at least Zeta Phi Beta had their Founders Day event. I don't know if they were going to have a convention this summer, but they did have something in DC in January. Because that's just. Centennial is but once.
Yeah,
it's such a big deal.
Big deal.
Yeah,
a big deal. We'll be Zooming with thousands of people.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Coach Cass, her website, as well as her Instagram. Both are scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Again, if you want to get more information about her services, her book, as well as nominating an organization to
Please
get one
do.
of the party kits, make sure that you visit the website.
Thanks, guys. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in. If you're on Facebook, I'm Ask Coach Cass. You can follow me on Facebook too. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to hang out with us and have a great evening.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye. All right. That is it for this Monday edition of the Angela Ray Show. As always, I want to remind you of Ray of Motivation number 54. Cleaning a mirror does not change the person who is reflected in it. Until next time, I encourage you to go out and be the change. Have a great evening. See you tomorrow.